Who's going to be the next OC at Alabama? That's just what I want to know.
Okay, there's two guys in my mind, all right? And Bill O'Brien, going back to the Patriots, do I think Bill's going to be in the NFL forever? I don't. I think he's going to be a college head coach again. I'm not going to say where for the 95th time because I don't feel like talking about it again today, and we're talking about the offensive coordinator. Here's the two names I got, legit. Why don't we take a look at Jeff Scott? Guy that helped build Clemson up with Yabba Dabba Dabo over there, and then goes to be the head coach of South Florida. Guess what? Sometimes it doesn't work out being the head coach. And it's his first go-around at it. He may get another shot. But as an offensive mind, as a guy that understands the importance of balance and being able to mix tempos, and we've seen that, great quarterbacks be developed over there with Clemson, he's a guy that gets it. Let him be the OC at a place like Bama or the Nick Saban Coaching Clinic Rehabilitation Center for coaches that want to coach better and do other things good too. Let him get back there. Or Brian Johnson, quarterback coach of the Eagles. He's been at Florida. He's been at Mississippi State. He's been at Utah. I watched him and Paul Kruger in 2009 go handle Nick Saban in Alabama and them in the Sugar Bowl. You remember that? He was the quarterback. I thought he had a chance to get the head coaching job at Auburn. He was legitimately a candidate for a while there. Up-and-comer, very, very, very smart when it comes down to quarterback development, understanding run-pass balance and things like that. I think Brian Johnson or Jeff Scott, I don't think you're getting Cliff. I don't think you're getting Jeff Lebby. I mean, Cliff's over there in Thailand hanging out with the guys from The Hangover. So, what are you going to do?
There's one person that could get Cliff, right, to come to the Alabama rehab of coaching. Who is that?
Cliff is going to get a call.
That's Nick Saban.
Cliff,
yeah, but I think Cliff's new phone, who dis? I'm in the league, man.
Well, you might have a new phone, that's fine, but Saban already has your number.
Hey, Bill O'Brien was in the league too.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Bill O'Brien was a head coach in the league, and I don't think he's going to have to recruit.
I agree.
I think they're going to say it's already January. NIL recruits now, just come here for one season. We only keep OCs for 1 year anyway. We win national championship, and then you leave. And you go back and maybe you try another crack in the NFL. Cliff's going to get a call, but I have a name for you.
Who?
I have a name for you here.
Don't you
How about Tom Herman? How about Tom Herman?
Just
talking about rehabilitation.
Yeah, he just took a head job.
He just took a head job, and now I think maybe he will not take a head job.
Which, to be honest with you, that OC position is better than the head coach job.
Well, think about it. Would you rather be the OC at Alabama right now or the head coach at Florida Atlantic, which is where he just took the head coaching job? Maybe he does want to be the head coach at Florida Atlantic, but he was an OC under Urban Meyer with the Buckeyes. Winning record as the head coach at Texas. He's been in the NFL, was with the Bears. Tom Herman is going to get another legitimate shot at big-time college football. Yeah. So the question is, would you rather be the OC at Alabama or the head coach at Florida Atlantic right now?
That's a great question to ask Lane Kiffin.
There you go.
Yeah,
done both.
My second one would be Dan Mullen. I think Dan, obviously he's always been a great play caller schematically. You come with the coordinator experience and just the development of quarterbacks. Dak Prescott, Kyle Trask. Dan could do it, and I don't think Dan wants to be a head coach regardless anyway, so he can just call the plays and get yelled at by Nick Saban. So what a perfect fit.
Yeah, I saw Dan come out and say that he's good with doing the TV thing right now. Dan Mullen, I feel like his ego's too big to be an OC again. Don't you get that vibe from him? Does anybody else get that? I'm the best there is, kind of better than everybody else, kind of snobby. But you remember when he tried to be cool? Remember he tried to be like Lane Kiffin, like wearing the cool shoes, and then you wear like the Darth Vader helmet in the interview, and it's like, dude, just be yourself.
Well,
it's like in high school.
If they can deal with Lane Kiffin's personality at Alabama, they can deal with Dan Mullen's personality.
They dealt with it for a little bit.
Yeah. That's all you need is a little bit.
That is true. Dan Mullen's a good name to bring up. Let me ask you this. I don't think this guy necessarily would be a great fit at Alabama or would take the job. But what about Paul Chryst? What is Paul Chryst going to do? He was an offensive guy, an offensive coordinator, had success at Wisconsin. Clearly they moved on because either they liked Jim Leonard, who was a coordinator, but then were able to hire outside of that. What is Paul Chryst going to do now?
He kind of gives me the NFL vibe a little bit.
Okay. Really?
Now I know the passing game wasn't intricate with what they did at Wisconsin. I think a lot of that's because they missed at quarterback. Graham Mertz, who is now transferred to Florida, is fighting it out with Jack Miller right now with this Rashida situation that's going on down there in Gainesville. It's interesting. But I feel like Chryst is going to be a guy that may take a shot in the NFL.
Interesting.
I just get that vibe from him. Oh, how much was his buyout from Wisconsin? Do we know? I mean, he may be sitting at a lake somewhere.
What do y'all think about Charlie Weiss Jr.? I mean,
I like Charlie Weiss Jr., and I don't want to blame him for his dad's mistakes, but every time I hear a Weiss in football, I kind of just wince for a second.
Offensive.
They'd be like, hey, what do you think about John Dahmer? I'm like,
yeah, I mean,
11 mil Paul Chryst buyout.
Yeah. He was at Alabama in 15 and 16. Then went to Florida Atlantic with Kiffin, was at USF. So, I mean, I don't think it'd be a bad hire. And I think Charlie Weiss does a great job. And I think he'd be a good play caller for them.
No, I don't think Charlie would be bad. It's going to be so interesting. The biggest dichotomy, because Alabama's picking a defensive coordinator too, is are they going to go NFL or are they going to go college? Because we've seen him do both. We've seen Nick Saban do both. So that's what I find fascinating. You're going to go pick one of these young guys out from the NFL? Or are you going to go maybe a former offensive-minded coach that made it pretty high up the ladder and then fell off? To me, I find it fascinating. And he's had guys with unbelievable character and guys that they've had to rehab, like Sark and stuff like that. So he's been through the whole gauntlet, which makes it a little harder to pin down.
He always gets his pick of the litter, but we're about a month after he usually gets his pick, right? Like with Kiffin and Sarkisian and those things. That was around December, late December, that he knew he was going to have to hire a new coordinator. Now we're nearing the end of January. That's going to shake things up a little bit.
No, it's the timeline and the market. It always bears what the market bears. Hey, YouTube, we appreciate you checking us out. Do us a favor, go subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and like this video. All of it helps. We're going to continue to grow and continue to try and make this the best sports show, and you guys are the main reason, because without you, there is no us. So give us a little help.